Hey guys, it's Main here, back again with another video. I thought I'd put out a little video going over what I thought about the World 7 launch, kind of what I did on day one, and some feedback, some thoughts, just kind of a all-rounded experience about what kind of it transpired, what we learned, etc. So I won't go too much into spoilers because I don't want to say I went pretty deep into the mechanics of World 7 or like anything there, but I did use a few of the time skip mechanics that came out through the quests and such. I didn't really spend much on that, but I did buy out pretty much all the gem shop stuff, and I got all the pets and all the pet packs and stuff. So I want to just give my thoughts about World 7 so far. Number one, absolutely, so far I'm having a blast with it. I think the changes to the various mechanics, the damage crystallization, Emperor having less HP, damage crash seems to have gone away. I don't think I have seen anyone really talk about that being a problem. And of course, Arcane Cultist now has their AFK mechanics. So just like Deathbringer, just like Windwalker, you would go into the masterclass form, go farm out those 1,000 fragments, and go ahead and blast and get you can claim your AFK time. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I can claim my second AC with the 3,400 hours or so that it has, so I can get my 3,400 rocks. And yeah, there's a lot of good about World 7. I think it's done great. Pass of what I expect from an endgame mechanic. Spelunking is the only skill that is available right now. There's a few side skills and like side mechanics that are Hole-esque to some degree that he's kind of held a good promise on. Specifically, Coral Cave is pretty good. There's that mini Divinity section. It's like a tiny little bonus. It uses Divinity points to give you various like account bonuses. It gives God rank a new meaning. It gives you a bunch of classy XP multi and stuff like that. Sorry, I was eating lunch and something got stuck in my throat, so give me a second. So I guess I can leave AC form and go look at the specific map. So a little bit of a caution, spoilers ahead. But there is this map right here, the balloon fish. This is where you see the Divinity guy. This is a new god, so to speak. You can't really link to it. It just has its bonus. It gives you increased gold ball bonus and also just gives you a bunch of Divinity EXP, which is pretty nice. You don't need to link to it, so it doesn't cost a link or anything. And then the various bonuses here give you increased max level to the blessing upgrades. It gives you a classy XP multi based off your god rank. It gives you increase, power of your divinity skill level, so it has more minor link bonus, which is insane, by the way, because you get more minimum talent levels that way. Gives you more divinity points per coral reef upgrade, which is great because divinity points are very hard to come by. And then there's also more daily coral you get, and this all costs divinity points. These are divinity points you see here. So divinity points is kind of renewed. It's been breathed. It's been given life again, right? And then obviously Cattlekruk gives you the new bonus that Cattlekruk gives you is it gives you plus levels for the bubbles. The stat bubbles. What I didn't take track of when I should have taken track of is if these give 223 or whatever that number is for you per bubble or for a single bubble. And I do also want to give a disclaimer that each, just like per meep, you need one character to link to this for this to work. So you can go link on Elemental Sorcerer if you don't have Doot, and then you can use the combination of the whole pocket divinity upgrades to link to Goat God, Arctis, and then you can use the polytheism talent to level it up and get the Kruk bonus. Actually don't know if that works or if you need to physically link to it and then you link to another god that way. I would probably just physically link to Cattlekruk to make sure that's not a problem, to be honest, and then use your polytheism talent to link to something else. And if you have two elemental sorcerers, even better. You can have one character linked to Permeep, the other linked to Cattlekruk, so you can have pretty much Arctis and Goat God active all the time, for example, or you can swap Goat God to Nobisect for pushing power or whatever other god you may need. But yeah, Cattlekruk, this link bonus, I think is pretty good. In terms of long-term gains, this is a good bubble because this is 223 just flat levels for these bubbles. And I do want to give a disclaimer. This is incredibly inflated because I did get the Kruk stamp, which is one of the new stamps in World 7, which you get from the shop, I do believe. And then when I used a golden stopwatch, it hit. And then I used another golden stopwatch, it hit again. To the point, I think my daily reset was bugged because I did a third reset and then I hit Crystalline, and then I did a fourth reset and I hit Bug Sack. So my RNG was just completely off the charts. And my daily reset just hit this stamp twice, which is absolutely crazy. And then I decided to exalt it for whatever reason. I don't think this was a good idea, to be completely honest. I'm just kind of testing things, see if it worked. And then I went and got the aluminum atom because the cost for Windwalker got reduced. So Windwalker getting aluminum atom is very, very possible now. So you can get additional increases to stamp doublers, the exalted stamps you get. So instead of 2.65 kind of being the max, 3.15 would have been it. But then there's also the like super talent things that this blobfish gives you, which is kind of insane. One of them, I believe, gives you there's like one of them up here or something. I actually don't know. By the way, I don't think this one's good. I don't think you should get messed with that. There we go. Bonus from Prisma, Bubbles, and Exalted Stamps is 15% higher. This one, I think, is pretty good, worth putting points into. I don't know if I actually want to make a tier list of this because there's a lot of bonuses to consider here. We don't know what's necessarily the best and what's like the best impact for your account, what's the best impact for World 7 for progression's sake. So I'm going to hold off judgment about what's the best, what's not the best, what's the worst one, what you shouldn't upgrade, because the points that you actually get are very limited. You need a lot of class EXP, and also some of this comes from the new pet companions. You get additional points here, and I'm going to talk about pet companions because that is a big fly on the wall the conversation that we need to have in just a second. And I did, because I bought all the packs on release and I bought previous packs, I had a bunch of green gems, I was able to get it. Unfortunately, because the servers took an absolute shit, I couldn't trade some of these pets to people, which I wanted to do, but that's okay. We can do it at a later date when I can stream next. Expect free pet giveaways on my next stream. I don't require anything from you. You don't need to be subbed to me. You don't need to follow. Just join the stream, be there. For the more rare pets, I'll probably do giveaways in the Discord like I did for the Fallen Spirits pets. So I'll be giving away the whale, I'll be giving away the balloonfish, stuff like that through those giveaway mechanics. So you guys have access to that. And, that way you don't have to stop by a stream or like watch a video, just join the Discord. I recommend chatting a little bit. I'll probably put a level requirement on it so we don't get bots spamming the Discord. So please, talk in the Discord, be active, be an active member of the community is all I ask. I don't think that's too much to do. And then there's obviously 2 new statues that came out. They're not trophy multiplier or name tag multiplier that we thought. It turns out those leaks from Lava's future content blog were actually just replica name tags. So you can actually buy this in World 7 shop in like fake having a name tag. So you can get the effect, like the cool cosmetic effect of having the name tag without having to worry about lugging around or snapshotting trophies or name tag necessarily. So that is a very big plus. The fact you don't have to snapshot that stuff anymore. However, there is a little bit of snapshotting still because some of these trophies you need to put specifically in the gallery to give a bonus. And I highly recommend trying to read this because I personally didn't read too much of this. I don't fully understand how it is. But from what I understand, these trophies, you can put them into gallery to make their bonus active. Their bonus naturally is given all of the time, but at a 30% bonus. So if you don't have one of these trophies equipped, say like King of Food here, I'm getting 30% of 20% food effect. So what, 6% gold food, regular food effect or something. So if I were to put this in the tier 1 gallery slot, I'd be getting the full effect, right? And then if it's in a grade 2 slot, it gives a 150%, and then grade 3 gives 200%. I do believe it was leaked that Riptide actually gives a 4th grade to this, and it gives some other additional bonus. I think AFK gains for all World 7 skills, which I'm going to say right off the bat, it was promised that Riptide would have a small bonus. I feel very confident in saying that is not a small bonus whatsoever. That is very insane for the fact that it is a limited, it's not widely accessible. And the reason I'm griping about that is because, I really don't have a reason to gripe for it. Honestly, it wasn't. I think the fact that Riptide was also partially gated behind raffle tickets that you had to spend a lot of money on in order to do it or you could just get lucky, right? I don't think that feels good for a lot of players. And there's also another layer behind the name tag and a trophy like collection that we see here, is that there's tiers to it. So there are people in the game currently with 1,000 times plus drop rate. And the reason that is possible is because during the summer event, they were able to get multiple of the drop rate trophies or name tags. Sorry. So if you see here, I have 28% drop rate multi because I got one of these. I hit the pity on the jackpot and I was able to get one of these. There are people that have had 5 of these, and if you have 5 of them, the bonus goes up to 250%. So instead of getting 100% by default, you're getting 2.5 times the normal drop rate multi that name tag, the Bones name tag gave you. So right there, it creates an incredible incentive in the future for FOMO. If name tags or trophies are ever introduced, or sorry, just name tags specifically, because this applies to name tags, sorry. If name tags are ever introduced into a event, there creates an incredible incentive to try and get the jackpot every single time, at least 5 times to get the multiple of the name tags. Now, by all means, it's not a necessity that you have to do that, but no one's going to look at that as anything but insignificant, anything but significant. I think the fact it kind of shoehorns people, especially since, you know, I'm also being leaked that there's name tags tome percents. I think there's becoming more and more pressure to push towards the end game if you want to try and compare yourself to end game people, or try to push into the new world and, you know, in the same fashion that other people are doing, which by all means, I don't ever advise for, because of how pay to win. Actually, I hesitate to say pay to win because the game has pay to win elements, but it's not like a mobile game, right? The game has a lot of FOMO to it. It naturally, I mean, I think this update is the best showcase of that. And it further goes towards that effect of it, because if you did not go out and get all the jackpots from the previous event or the 4th anniversary or the previous Valence Slimes update, you don't have the max bonus for these name tags. It's just not possible. And you will have missed out on effectively 2.5 times what is the normal drop rate you would expect from just having one of the name tags. Or, you know, this affects class EXP too. This also affects the drop rate multi. This affects weapon power, AFK gain, stuff like that. Like, these are pretty significant things for people's accounts. And part of the reason that I don't like this is because it incentivizes or creates a sense of FOMO in the game, fear of missing out. That if you didn't do this before, now you're kind of behind other people that did. And sure, you can create the argument that this is a single player game, that there's really no reason to care about it. But the fact it inherently exists, it victimizes, or that doesn't victimize, but what's the word that I'm looking for? It targets the people that have tendencies to gamble, tendencies to go after, you know, pay to win elements. If there's some way you can pay money in this game to get ahead, people who have gambling tendencies and, you know, fall towards those tendencies are more likely to do so. And so it kind of it feels bad. It feels bad for those people, because what's the word I'm looking for? It's not marginalize. It goes after those types of people. And this is the problem I have with FOMO. It's a problem I have with pay to win in video games. It's that people don't necessarily have the means. It marginalizes people. And, you know, if you are trying to get into higher ends of this game, trying to get into like top 10%, 5%, 0.1% tome, whatever it may be, you're leagues behind people if you recently started, and you're leagues behind people if you didn't give into this FOMO. And regardless of what you say, it's going to impact people. It's going to impact people because this simply exists. And that's just the case in every single video game that pay to win is a thing. And this is the big problem I have with it. Anyways, crash out aside, I think overall, as an upgrade for your account, obviously this is insane, right? This limits the amount of snapshotting you need to do. I think this is a great move by Lava. I think this is a great mechanic, albeit putting aside that big FOMO aspect to it that, again, has always been a problem to me and will continue to be a problem for me. Anyways, moving on. So we have I guess kind of glanced over, but there's other smaller mechanics of the game. So obviously there's World 7 shop, there's these upgrade stones. I didn't really delve too much into the upgrade stones, but they seemingly give better bonuses than World 6 stones. So obviously use these. They come at a very limited shop capacity. I obviously have the vendor stamp exalted, and so all the exalted bonuses I have, it's great. So I get a lot more than you would probably do, but they give misc bonus. I'm sure it's probably like stat percent or drop rate, whatever corresponds to the weapon you're putting it on. And then, I would recommend buying these every single day, using them over the World 6 stones. And additionally, they don't use up a slot if you're not successful, which is pretty nice. There's some of this stuff I haven't gotten a chance to play with yet, like the Unstable Reliquarium from... that's a spoiler. I don't want to say that, but allegedly it's a good thing. And then there's also the Coral Reef. You get coral per day as a bonus. You unlock these fish by progressing the Spelunking mechanic, which, by the way, again, the Spelunking mechanic is great. I love the Spelunking mechanic. You get a bunch of the time skips for this for free for completing the World 7 quest. Highly recommend playing around with it, and please read the quest line so you don't accidentally mess up your progression. I don't think it really messes up your progression, but definitely read through it so you kind of have that to go for you. Cool. What else? Let's see. I haven't fully progressed through World 7 yet. I'm kind of doing that AFK on my tunes. Do keep in mind also, this is something to call out. There's these 3 notices here. I highly recommend you guys read this because this does impact your ability to actually push the maps in World 7. There's also a reduction to the skill EXP and efficiency you have for Spelunking until some things happen. I can't remember. I guess right here. Impact of all skill efficiency bonus and Spelunking, additive bonuses. So whatever normal all skill EXP and all skill efficiency you have from other sources like cooking, like golden ham, for example, the gold food effect from that, it's reduced by a very significant margin. So Spelunking isn't like blown out of the water day 1. And then there's also kill per kill is significantly decreased by the talents, charred skulls, stacked skulls, memorial skulls. If you aren't familiar with what those are the elite class push abilities. These skulls, they give an insane amount of kill per kill based off the amount of total stat that you have. And so that's been disabled. So pushing power is significantly diminished for World 7 because of that. And additionally, multi-kills also kind of heavily diminished here in World 7 because it requires 5 times the amount of damage to activate. And it's also significantly diminished, just naturally because of that. And so it has a very low effect. I think I said the same thing for about 3 sentences there in the thing. So anyways, my advice is if you were trying to push World 7, seemingly doing it active kind of actually hurts. If you have a high amount of AFK gains, say like 1,000 plus, you're probably you need to do your own testing for this. You're probably better off actually pushing an AFK because I was able to open most of these portals in like 30 minutes. And I'm still doing it on this character. I'm actually going to go ahead and do it here on this character, for example. Pushing it here. Oh, there we go. Portal open. So in 37 minutes, I was able to open a portal somewhere. One of these, probably the top portal, maybe. I'm about halfway through the right portal. I don't even think this does anything. It does. Okay, I'm in the next map. Cool. So it took me about 30 minutes to push that portal, but there's another portal off and to the right, so I'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, doing it AFK seems to be better. There's also catching nodes, skilling nodes, stuff like that. If you want to finish the vials and get those vials done underway, I'd recommend trying to print those materials to make your life a little bit easier, because obviously if you have a high amount of skilling efficiency, you're hitting the billion anyways, or near the billion depending on your print multi, to be able to get these vials up to level 13 like I did here, for example. And I won't mouse over all of these bonuses, but they are pretty good. These ones that I've unlocked, I would highly recommend going for because they will impact your progression on World 7 in some way, or increase your damage, or give you some other like stat bonus. So highly recommend doing these vials specifically, which some of them are skilling resources, mob resources, or spelunking specific. So highly recommend doing that. What else? Oh yeah, gaming's expansion is insane. There's a lot of palettes here. You unlock more of these hexagons naturally by just doing gaming, by progressing spelunking, gaining the bonuses from spelunking. There's also spelunking does interact with gaming in various ways, of which I don't want to necessarily say. But big spoiler, Snail has more than 25 levels, and it costs a absolute metric fuck ton of mail to level up past level 30. So keep that in mind. Pushing Snail mail as much as you can is definitely recommended. And Man, it is rough. It costs a lot of mail, and it's rough. It's so bad. There's also an upgrade in World 7 through that like whale mechanic inside the town, that where your metal detector no longer resets when you collect a new high tier nugget, which is absolutely fantastic for nugget pushing. However, the downside to gaming is that we lost 5-second or instant gaming rather from World 6, so that's a big bummer. But honestly, I think it's fine because the amount of gaming bit multi that we have gotten from this update more than outweighs that fact. And also with this new upgrade here, this is just insane for your account, like overall. I'll go ahead and spoil the first one. It's gaming bit, like extra gaming bits. You have double statue drops, all skill efficiency, and then double snail mail. That's like really, really good, especially with the snail mechanic to try to push it. So highly recommend getting into the gaming palette. If you're not there yet, you'll get there eventually. Don't worry about it. But gaming did naturally lose speed because the palette reintroduces it. So it's kind of a rebalancing for gaming. I don't necessarily have too big of a problem with it. I think it was a good idea to kind of space out gaming and make it a little bit more difficult to approach, because it allows people to kind of stop and progress and think about the progression with gaming a little bit more than just kind of following generic advice to reach instant gaming and then finish it, right? I think the rebalancing of it is completely fine. It's completely valid. I highly encouraged it. So great job. I think that's a great thing there. Other than that, other mechanics that were introduced. So obviously we have the new like kind of clicker mechanics, not really a clicker mechanic. It's Clamworks. Clamworks seems to be some clicker mechanic. I'm not too far into it, so I can't really talk about it, but definitely good upgrades is the second one. Clam Comrades, Lucky Day. You can AFK here and actually get the pearls. Respawn mechanics for the most part seem to work. So if I use Raise Dead, it respawns the clams. So obviously pretty good. So more availability to use your classes there on like AC and DK. I'm not sure about Elemental Sorcerer, but yeah, you can use those classes there. Cool. Okay, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh yes, the multi-meritocracy. So this is a bonus that's also introduced. So this is essentially ballot bonus. But the thing I really liked about this is that it doesn't allow you to vote until you reach a certain point in World 7, of which I have not reached yet. Pinpoint Summit is what it says. So you need to bring back the specific mob resource to enable this, or rather, be able to vote in this. And here I'd highly recommend trying to do ribbons. Please, for the love of God, do ribbons to help everyone out, because please, for the love of God, I need ribbons. I need to get my meals level 20. That would be very nice and very kind of you guys. And also, speaking about meals, there were 4 new meals added. You get the spice battle for it relatively early on. The comp that I did was I did Peapod. I guess I'll go to Arena to show you. I did Peapod. I did 2 refillers over here. I did a looter back there. Did the whale and did a rattler. And this did it for me. This may or may not actually do it for you depending on your pet power, but there's better combinations for it. What I've seen people do is they'll end up using Mimic, for example, for the shield. They'll use Burger for the high HP. They'll use Monolithic to freeze to give you more time to actually cast stuff. So there's various different spices. I would probably recommend doing something like Monolithic, like Defender. The generic guide sheet that has been around for years is still valid. I'd recommend probably following that. But the meals, there's only 1 new spice from World 7 so far. The recipe you need to unlock all the meals are right here. There you go. You just finish the recipe, whatever, and you get it. And then you cook it. So far, the requirement to actually upgrade these meals to max level is very, very high. Having Prisma Diamond Chef, it's not enough to get these meals naturally to level 110, let alone 120, because guess what? We have a new tier sailing artifacts, by the way, which are very hard to come by. And we also have a new sailing island, so it got an expansion. So I think overall, I've talked a lot. I don't want to go too much further into the mechanic itself or the game update. I'll leave that for you guys to figure out. But so far, my first impressions of the update are, for the most part, good. But again, I have some trepidation about the future of Idleon as it relates to pay to win. With this being the full release of Idleon, we'll see where the game's direction goes from here. The fact that this itself is a big screaming FOMO kind of feels bad. It kind of sucks for people who didn't get multiple jackpots, me included. By the way, I spent tens of thousands of gems trying to get another of these name tags during the summer event, but I never did. Just feels bad. There are people out there with 5 that have 1,000 x drop rate, whereas I don't, which just sucks. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned a little bit of something. Hope you guys, let me know what you feel in the comments below. How you feel about World 7, what you think about the new pet packs, new pet companion, the rotating out spirited value, how that's no longer available. What you think about Riptide's bonus, even though I didn't really show it. And yeah, anything else you may think of. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bean, please move away. I need to stop recording so I can end the video. Please, thank you. Please don't scratch me.